Once upon a time, my yard looked like this, but you're never gonna believe the after. I started by cleaning everything up, added some landscape fabric, and then I decided to build a floating deck using some pressure-treated lumber. Next, I power washed the existing fence and I painted the deck and the fence with some outdoor paint that I color matched to get the exact colors that I wanted. I added pavers and filled in between them with some white gravel, and then I planted some blueberry bushes and hung some string lights. It's done. It's seriously not the same space, but I'm obsessed. Here's the before and here's the after. Shop everything in the blog post. Wait, what am I making with this metal closet rod? It's not a closet, it's these. So I grabbed 4 modern planters, filled each one with half a bag of fast setting concrete, made some tops with some eye hooks, then I added the posts in, taped them in place, added water. This part is so satisfying, watch. Then when it was fully set, I added some sand and took off the tape, and then I added some marble chips to the top for some texture. They're looking like this. Zip tied some lights through the eye hole, and look at these, they're so cute. Get the step-by-step and links on the blog. You'll never guess what I turned this into. We don't need those, so prime it with metal primer. Then poke some holes in it. Your neighbors will love you, and it will help with drainage. Put it in position and then paint it. You don't have to be too careful because we'll change our mind about the color 27 times anyway. Now grab some 4x4s and cut them down to make a frame. It's 7 foot tall and looks like this. Attach it together with some brackets, add lattice on the inside. Do you see where this is going? Okay, walk it into position behind the filing cabinet. Attach it with some wood screws. You can also weigh it down with bricks. I added lattice to the back with brad nails. They're looking so good. Time to paint the final color, which, yes, is the primer color. I used a sprayer for a really great finish. Added some gravel and some plants, and they look like this. They add privacy and color. You can swap out these plants super easily, add some lighting, and that's how I went from this to this.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest,
You know what time it is. Time to turn this dilapidated shed into the best tailgating space you've ever seen. I started by fixing up the inside, which turned out like this. Next, I built a deck on the front, which is way easier than it looks. It was done in a day. For real. I ripped off the old siding, which was completely rotted, and replaced it with some new siding. Then I painted the whole thing this perfect moody color, added some lighting, a bar top, and some football decor. And that's how this horrifying shed became the perfect space to hang out and watch the game. Can you even believe how wild this before and after is? Also, it feels like I should use this paint color everywhere. Okay, now who's coming over for a watch party?
Don't worry, there's just a whole ant colony that lives here, so that's fun. But we did get this free saw, so win-win.
Uh-oh, I think I cut this hole a little too big. Don't worry, we'll just caulk it. Kidding, it's part of my genius plan to turn this into a bar to host all my neighbors for happy hour. But let's back up. So first, there was demo. I reworked the inside, then handled this casual ant infestation. What's up, guys? I ditched this old window to put in a new one. I added fresh plywood on the floor and walls, primed everything, painted the ceiling this moody color, added some deck flooring, cut out another hole in the wall, and framed it to make the bar.
This is cabinets. We need to build some sort of top.
Oh, like a countertop? Yeah, just put some plywood and then smooth some plaster on it. And also seal it. Then came tile. Then came grout. Then came Jesse with wrapping paper and a plan to measure this triangle, and it actually worked great. And then, the most important part, sealing all the gaps. I'm really serious. There were so many things to caulk in this space, from the countertop to the trim to the windows. I used GE sealants for this. They're silicone based, they work amazing. And that's how I turned the scary shed into a garden bar for neighborhood gatherings. You can come too. this paint color is so perfect. It looks amazing with gold and wood tones. It's super versatile, a little bit moody. It's called Cracked Pepper. It's Bear's 2024 Color of the Year, and here's some other places I used it. Oops. Why am I chopping down my hammock? Well, yeah, I didn't measure it. We got to redo it. So I'm going to show you how to dry pour concrete. Dig a new hole, this time in the right spot. Then just go ahead and toss in your 4x4. Perfect. Get yourself some of this and then open it up and dump it all around your post. It's called dry pouring because we're pouring it in dry. Now you're going to level it off. And in this case, bigger is better. Looking good. Okay, now you're going to water it. Just get it all wet. The mix will soak up the water and any excess will go into the ground. Let it dry, and there you go. Check the caption for more details. So you're gonna need some of these to achieve your dream of never having to mow again. I started by tilling the ground and removing all of the roots. Then I marked off the area where I wanted to put the turf. And then you need some base material so that you can compact it to make a base. I'm using this turf, which is pet friendly. Honestly, the only hard part was getting it into my car. You just roll it out just like a rug. Let it sit in the sun a little bit to acclimate. And then you use giant nails to secure it in place. Look how amazing this looks. It's like gonna stay green the whole time. So you add all these nails. You can cut it really easily along the edges with scissors or a box knife. Look at that seam. Good job, Jessie. Add some landscape staples to hold it in place. Then you put this stuff on it, which is infill. It helps hold it down. And we went from this to this. Look at this before. It's wild, literally. And this after is magical. I'm in love with this backyard, and turf was definitely the way to go. I can't believe I made this. Stay tuned to see what's happening here.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this
promise I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic. Got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it.
First, we're tackling the yard. It sounds magical, looks horrible. Got out the axe for this one. We had some trees that need chopped down. Just kidding, it wasn't that easy. I had to channel my inner lumberjack. Okay, next I'm moving this big pipe rack. It was buried pretty deep. Also, this giant log. Hello, strongman competition. So I dug and dug and dug and pulled and huffed and puffed and finally got this thing out. It was horrible. Considering painting this or building a deck instead, let me know what you think. I cleaned everything up a little bit so I could see the vision. We went from this to this, already so much better. Don't miss what's next. How to build a deck in one day by yourself. Pressure treated 1x6 boards, lay them out in 2 rectangles. These are 8-foot boards. It'll look like this. Attach the center boards together and then start attaching the corners using some brackets. Nails are ideal for shear strength, but this is on the ground, so I used exterior wood screws. So basically 2 boxes attached together, and it looks like this in the middle. Next, we're adding support boards. I'm using joist hangers, and there's 3 on each side, but you could probably add more. Now I'm adding the top boards on top with this special tool that drives a screw at an angle so that you can't see it. It's linked to my Amazon shop. My bestie came to bring me some snacks, and then we had to spy on the neighbors, which is totally normal. Let the record show Jesse carried a board, so this rest right here, well deserved. This process is pretty repetitive. I just attached all the boards across the top. Check my other video for paint details. It's pretty magical, and if it all falls apart, you only drop 6 inches, so crushed it. Build a deck with no screws on top.
I'm actually using this really cool thing I found. It's like attaches to your drill and it puts all the deck screws in like hidden. I'll show you up close. So it helps you get the deck screws in on the side at an angle so that they're all hidden and there's no like screw holes on the top. Okay, you just like load the screw in here, put it against this,
Look how clean and modern this looks with no screw holes. Time to paint this fence. I got this color. Anyone want to guess how this went? I painted it. I hated it. So we're going to pivot, but let's paint this deck black for now, and then we'll go get new paint. This is Bear deck over paint. I color matched it to this exact color I wanted, which is dark mocha. It's so pretty. It's like black, but brown undertones. So I just rolled and rolled and rolled and painted the whole thing. It soaked in super fast, and I got a new paint color, and we're gonna spray the fence. Look how much better already. Next, I'm adding landscaping and decor. Don't miss it. Ready for some patio styling tips? From the space I designed for the Home Depot catalog. Climbing greenery can liven up a blank wall and use tons of texture to add interest. I love a neutral base with pops of color that are easy to change out. Add art like this outside canvas made from a shower curtain. You can read more of my tips on the sidebar, find all the products listed in the catalog, and find the tutorial for this outdoor canvas art. Go grab a copy. P.S. There's a coupon. Ooh, is that a bookshelf? Yeah, but for plants. It's made with weather-resistant materials like decking boards and sealed with some deck paint. The shelves tilt outwards so plants have room to grow, and I secured it to the deck and the wall. You can add your favorite blooms or herbs into your patio decor. They add texture, color, and liven up any outdoor space. The shelf is perfect for large and small spaces. Find the full tutorial on YouTube.
I'm going to show you how to make a bookshelf herb garden that's super simple and adds greenery and texture to both large and small outdoor spaces.
Psst, all the materials are in the blog post. I'm starting out with deck boards, cutting them down to sides to make a frame. Here's the cut list. Then I made a 30-degree wedge out of a scrap piece of wood and used it to attach the shelves at an angle. You can use pocket holes or drive a screw. We got a shelf that looks like this. Next up, I'm adding aluminum bars to the front of the shelves, marking, drilling some holes for screws. Next, some paint. I'm sealing with deck paint, spray painting my aluminum bars with primer, and then some gold paint, then attaching them to the front of the frame like this. Grab some flower pots, make sure they fit, then plant up your favorite herbs or blooms. I put the shelf on the deck, anchoring it to the wall with a bracket. Then I added all the plants. This shelf is perfect for both large and small spaces, leveraging vertical space to showcase your favorite plants. More details on the blog. Here's the step-by-step for how I built this huge 10-foot patio table for around $200. I'm using 4x4 and 2x4 boards. They're pressure treated, but you can use regular lumber and seal really well. First things first, I cut them all down to size for the legs. And this is what the layout looks like for each end. Next, I built the legs with some wood glue and some deck screws, screwing them together, and they look like this. Next, I added the tabletop by sliding in my 4x4 boards and attaching with screws as I went. I cut everything for a pretty tight fit and then just used a lot of screws to keep it all in place. I kept adding and securing the boards one at a time, and the finished table looks like this. You want to let this wood dry fully before staining or sealing. This table has held up super well. It's been a year and it still looks brand new. What do you think? Would you build one for your space? Let's make over this door. It has lead paint, so we're just gonna caulk and paint right over the top, and then we're adding an address sign so the Amazon guy knows where to put my presents, adding this little bee knocker because it's so cute. And check it out, we went from this to this. It's adorable. Links are on the blog. I took my old concrete steps from this to this with just 2 tools. Here's how I did it. I'm not demoing these because they're going to support the new steps. I ripped out this old rotted ledger and installed a new one that's 8 foot wide. Now the old steps will support a board that I can attach the stringers to. I attached that board to post on either side and added another one on top. I cut a notch in the stringers with a circular saw and added in a joist hanger. These will let us attach the stringers to the support board with some nails just like this. Also, these are 12-inch spacing. I added some risers with structural screws. Then I added pressure-treated deck boards on top, 2 per stair. Here's a different angle. I sealed everything with a semi-transparent stain. And that's the step-by-step for turning this into this. This house needs some paint, like so badly. So I did what I always do, which is start with a teeny tiny brush and the sample and just really go for it without getting the right tools for the job. We got so far. Then I finally got a bigger brush and things were going way faster. It was time to take this party upstairs. I swear that in the time it would take to tape off and spray, I could paint the whole thing with a tiny brush. Things were going really well until, let me know when you see it. This is how to run from a wasp on a roof. Step 1, squat. Step 2, scurry. So then I killed his whole family and got back to work.
Just kidding, I'm too nice, I can't kill bugs. Okay, but here's my genius invention. So I had to get into these areas and did not want to stand on the edge of the roof, so I made this. Yes, that is 1,000,000% a paintbrush taped to a stick. But tell me it's not getting the job done. So anyway, that's the professional method to get from this to this. When we took the sunroom from that into this, we thought it'd be a really good idea to throw the debris out the window into a dumpster bag. This almost worked, except the crane couldn't pick it up because of the power lines. We tried to move it, it was way too heavy, and the neighbors were getting a little angry. They're not wrong, it's not great. We finally got a dumpster and emptied it out so it was light enough to move, but we were left with this big dead space. So today I'm gonna fix it, and I'm using this Smart Seed from Pennington Grass Seed. First, I'm evening out the dirt, removing debris, and loosening up the soil. So from that to that. Next, I'm adding the seed into a hand spreader. This is going to help me get the right density and coverage. This part was so much fun. I just walked around and spread the seed out everywhere. I'm honestly not great at lawn care, but this seed is kind of like a no-fail situation. It has fertilizer and grows in sun or shade. Now I just have to water it. Things are really looking up around here. Follow along to see it grow and don't miss what's next. So for pieces I already have that I scrounged up, we have these outdoor lanterns, this garden stool, this plant that isn't doing so great, but it's good for now. We'll try to revive him, and this pot. So I'm using this orange as the inspo because it kind of ties into the house really good. Let's make over my front porch and turn it into this. It's so magical out here. So I started by ripping down this weird half wall they had. I'm keeping the post and rebuilding it with some lattice. I added onto it to make it a little bit taller. I have dreams of adding climbing plants and vines that'll climb all the way up this. I attached everything and then pulled some weeds. Then I added these planters, some plants, and this really cute little planter box with numbers. Then I made these poles for some string lights. You'll never guess what the pole is. And then I wanted to add this smart lock to my door. It was super easy to swap this out. Then I gave the door a coat of paint, this really cute little bee knocker, and that's how we went from this to this. Little upgrades, but so much better. Look, the universe sent me a ginormous snail, and I think that's like a stamp of approval on this project. So we're gonna have to relocate him, but I feel like it's a good sign. I don't want to touch it. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Maybe he's gonna move on his own. If I just finish clearing the furniture, he'll get out of here by himself. There's another one. I'm pretty sure they're friends. I'm getting them some water. It's really hot, and I think I could burn. Okay, here, I'll show you the way. You come over here. Keep coming this way. This way, this way. Come over here, you too. You can come here too. Everybody, we're going over here. They are not looking good. I think I'm gonna have to touch them. Hey, get on this stick. Come on. Get on this stick.
You better not eat my snails, or I will come for you and your friends. You two also. Get out. Yumi and this lumber are about to show this backyard what's up. Here's what we're starting with. So first, we obviously need to build a floating deck. That is so easy. It took just one day to build. I use this thing so you can't see screws on the top. So anyway, now that's done. Let's paint it with this chocolate brown color. And now obviously we have to add a greenhouse. This thing was so easy to assemble. I'm gonna grow so many magical things in here. So I added shelves and plants and then a little cafe table. Okay, so here's where we started. And this is the app. Get excited. It's finally time for outdoor projects again. Here's what we're starting with. Remind me next time to actually close down the yard. There was so much to clean up. I painted these with some deck paint. I obviously needed some new chairs and a fire pit. Look how beautiful this copper is. Next up, these chairs. They're so big and comfortable and made of metal, so they'll last a really long time. And just like that, the patio is officially open for spring. Look at this before and after. It's pretty wild how just rearranging everything and adding a couple new pieces is all a space really needs to feel fresh. This fire is a vibe. I'm so excited to be using this space all summer. Let me know what outdoor project we should tackle next, and I will link everything in my bio.
Time for another project. So I know a lot of places patio season is almost over, but here in Houston, it's about to get real nice outside. So I'm shopping all the sales and getting everything for super cheap because I'm a genius. Let's put together a whole pergola by ourselves. That's cool. You know, I was tired anyway. That's fine. It's fine. You do you. Yeah, I'll be back later. Okay, bye.
Let's fix this backyard. I started by scrubbing the deck and cleaning it up a little bit, and next I'm adding a greenhouse so I can make this into a magical little garden cafe. I snagged this from Wayfair and there was lots of parts, but it's super easy to assemble and comes in a few sizes. Here's how it's looking. Time for a shelf and a table for plants, also a rug. Now we need a table and chairs. I ordered this little set from Wayfair and it's so cute. Okay, so that's how this became this. I took this deck from gross to magical with just a few simple pieces. Now I can get to work growing things in this little greenhouse and my space is all set up for entertaining. Check out Wayfair if you want to update your outdoor space just in time for summer. If you've ever wanted to keep an eye on your neighbors, I've got the perfect thing. No, not those ones. They're pretty quiet. This doorbell is super easy to install and it's going to be a game changer since I can monitor everything from right in the app. This doorbell has smart alerts, so I'll get fewer unnecessary notifications from things like blowing leaves or cars driving by, which is perfect if your house is on a busy corner like mine. I'll be able to see which neighbor is at my door, but also know when my packages arrive with the expansive vertical field of view. You should totally upgrade your old doorbell to the Ecobee Smart Doorbell camera. And if we're lucky, this is going to be more entertaining than watching TV.
Kick and a half.
Knock knock, it's me with a brand new porch. Here's what we're starting with, and it's pretty rough. I demoed all the old rotted wood, and then I decided to build some new stairs right over top of the old ones. I used pressure treated lumber and stringers. This is way easier than it looks, I promise. I stained it this really pretty warm brown color, and this is where you're gonna have to trust me because it gets good. I switched the lock from this keypad to this one. It's so pretty and fits the vibe of the door way better, but here's the best part. You can rekey this quickset lock in seconds. This smart key feature is a game changer because you can switch keys without having to replace the whole lock. Just look how easy this is. And that's how I turned this into this.
I think it's going good. They're kind of yelling at each other, but I feel like that's just part of the process. But I will take you through like kind of what we've done so far, and hopefully I can find you a photo of the design because that would be really... Cara from Never Skip Brunch, and I'm bringing you some tips for designing the perfect deck. So a well-planned deck will effortlessly host casual backyard barbecues or chic alfresco dinner parties. Here's my process for designing the perfect deck. So first you have to decide whether to DIY or not. If you have a lot of experience, this might be an easy choice, but if you normally DIY but aren't sure you have the skills to take on this project, my best tip is to be honest with your skill set. I love DIY, but we outsourced our deck and we're so happy with the results. Outsourcing to a pro might sound more expensive, but it can actually save you from costly mistakes that are going to drain your time and budget. Okay, so let's talk about choosing materials. The materials you choose for your deck are essential. They need to be able to last a really long time, be sustainable, be low maintenance, and withstand all of the elements, whatever that means for your area. A high quality material is going to be totally worth the investment to keep your deck looking pristine even after it's been outside and exposed to all the elements for a while. My pro tip here is that options are essential. If you're choosing a material that only comes in 5 colors, while it may be functional and perform well, it's really going to limit you from a design standpoint, and that might mean you don't really get to design the deck of your dreams. So this is why I like companies like TimberTech. Their decking comes in 35 different colors and 3 widths, so you can really get creative when it comes to designing your aesthetic for your space. Add some visual variety. This might mean you choose an accent color and choose to accent with a different color than the decking you chose. Or it might mean you go with the same color but implement some variety in the board width or in different inlays like herringbone or pinstripe or picture frame. Whatever your style, you want to leverage variety in both color and the design to create a space that has some interest and isn't just one slab of the same color. Okay, phase 2 is to think about the function of your space. So first, think about what activities you're going to do in this space, make a list of all that you want to be able to do, and think about how to incorporate these into your design. So a pro tip for this is to plan for the future and not just your immediate needs. Is a hot tub something you want down the road? Plan a space for that now so that you can make the addition later easily, since your deck is going to last you a really long time. Some other things to consider to make sure your deck functions well is the size of your lot, where the sun rises and sets, and any awesome views in your backyard that you want to make sure you're able to enjoy when you're sitting on your deck. You also want to think about posts and beams and traffic flow. Is there anything you want to make sure not to block? What's going to be the easiest design in terms of people entering and exiting the yard or your house? These are things you can sit down with your contractor to see what's possible, but having a good idea of what you really want before going in is going to help him design a deck that best meets your needs. Okay, so now for the fun part, the design. Samples are going to be your best friend when designing your color palette and all the little details that go into your space. Brands like TimberTech offer free samples, so you can order different widths, different colors, and play around with it to see kind of what you like best. So your color planning should start with the deck material you choose, because a large space is going to contribute a lot of that hue, and you want to be able to build your color palette around that. So another pro tip is when you're designing your space, flat lay some of the elements so you can see how everything works together. So taking a sample of decking and some of the fabrics you're interested in and the color palette to really see how everything works together and make sure it looks cohesive and polished. Okay, those are my best tips when it comes to designing your perfect deck. Planning the perfect deck means designing it to fit your lifestyle. I had so much fun in the process of designing our space, and I get to do it all over again moving to Houston. We have a whole new yard that's a blank canvas to redo. So those are some of the things I learned and some of the tips I would recommend. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up so you can stay up to date with more decor videos just like this. This video is sponsored by TimberTech.